Welcome to The Milk, the podcast that pours it all out, the messy, the magical, and the mildly unhinged moments of motherhood and womanhood. Real talk, honest stories, and reminders that none of us really know exactly what we're doing, and that's kind of the best part. I'm Taylor, your host and soon-to-be mom of 3, so let's laugh, learn, and milk this season of life for all that it's worth. Hi, ladies. Welcome back to The Milk. How are we today? I am officially out of the second trimester. I don't know how that happened, when that happened. Well, I do know when that happened, but it has flown by. And I feel like I haven't really talked about my pregnancy since I did like our first trimester diaries. So I thought maybe I'd do a little solo episode today and do a little recap of the first trimester, my symptoms, body changes, emotions, things I'm loving, and kind of what surprised me this time around. So I'm officially at 28 weeks, which means I'm out of the second trimester. I believe it's week 14 to the end of week 27 is the second trimester. And as I mentioned, I feel like it is completely flown by. And I've got to say, I have like a tug of war feeling about this. Like, on one hand, I'm happy it's flying by. But then on the other hand, I'm getting like very emotional about just the phase of life I'm in with my other 2 kids and like also not wanting that to stop and just somewhat kind of wanting this pregnancy to slow down at the same time, where I feel like 2 things can be true. Like I can be so excited that it's flying by and it means we're getting closer to meeting our 3rd child, but also me wanting to just like slow it the heck down to really just absorb and appreciate these final days with just my 2 other kids. Bash is just about to be 2.5, and Aspen will turn 4 in March. And yes, we still have like some tough parenting days. We will always have those, but knock on wood, we have been in this phase where I just am loving life and every single waking minute with my kids. They're just so cool, so much fun to be around. They're just so independent and self sufficient. Where I can, open their car doors, they can climb in the car, we can go do little adventures, we can go get treats together. And parenting when I have them on my own solo with just the 2 of them feels like a breeze, where in the past, like when we were doing 2 under 2, the thought of parenting 2 by myself, I was just crippling at the knees with anxiety. And now I'm just like rocking it and owning it and truly loving it. And I just look at them and it's like I'm so happy with where we're at. And then a little thought pops in my head like, oh, wait, hold that thought. You need to soak this all in because you're about to flip your life upside down willingly. Um, Obviously for the best reasons. But part of me is just like really wanting to soak up these days with just the 2 of them. And dare I say, life feels like a lot easier and less heavy. And so I'm just in this phase where I want to absorb all of it every single moment. And I look at them and I'm just like, I'm tearing up every single day at just how sweet they are, their relationship, my relationship with them. And it's just like part of that little mourning thing again, where I'm like, oh, these are the best of days. I'm mourning that I won't always have these. Like, I wish I could just have like a camera and voice recorder on us at all times. That like when I'm like 85 years old, I can just listen back to all of these little memories. And so, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with that. So, yeah, just acknowledging that 2 things can be true. I can be excited that time's flying by, getting to meet my new baby soon, but also really wanting time to slow down in order to just soak up the days with my other 2. I feel like that's inevitable and that'll always happen. So I just keep reminding myself and telling myself every day I'm kind of like struggling with that. Like, be where your feet are and be present in that and just enjoy it and make the most of it, because one day you're not going to have that. So that's the plan, fam. That's what I am doing on the daily. Okay, what's different this time around in my pregnancy? I was really trying to think of the differences now that I've had almost completed 3 pregnancies. And this time around, something that has actually shocked me is the exhaustion that I have felt in this 3rd pregnancy, second trimester, where usually I feel like the crazy exhaustion has hit me like the last like 2 to 4 weeks of pregnancy. I'm like, "Okay, I'm over this. I feel exhausted. I feel so heavy where I can barely move my body." But this has been happening throughout my entire pregnancy. Like, I don't even remember what it feels like to be energized. And it's kind of sad, but I don't know what it is. If it's because I'm taking care of two other humans at the same time, like early wake ups, the school drop offs, the making the food lunches for school, the dinners, the like doing everything nonstop is making me exhausted, or if it's just this pregnancy is just hitting me so much harder. I know I'm older than my last two. Like my first pregnancy was at 28, second was at 30, and now I'm 32. But I don't feel that old to be feeling this tired in my pregnancy. Someone was like, I think girls make you more exhausted, which I could probably attest to, but I don't know. Also important to note that I did get some blood work done and I found out I have a vitamin D and an iron deficiency, which is linked to like chronic fatigue and just exhaustion. So I've recently been adding those two supplements into my daily routine, and I have seen a little bit of a difference when it comes to like my energy levels throughout the day, where now I can like actually get up in the morning and start to function right away, where it would take me like the first hour to even be able to open my eyes after 9 to 9.5 hours of sleep. Just feels like my hands and my limbs are like sandbags. And I'm like, what, like, how do I have 3 more months of this? Like, that is insane. So, anyways, that's probably been the biggest difference, where I don't remember feeling this exhausted so early on, where I feel like the last two pregnancies, second trimester was like my jam. Like, my energy was back. I was like taking each day and just running with it because I knew that it wouldn't last forever and that third trimester would really slow me down. So this time I'm just slowing down a little bit earlier, and it's humbling, but one day at a time. Also, for anyone who's pregnant and is feeling like very fatigued, like more fatigued than you probably should, just ask your doctor for a blood panel. I thought it was like the most minor thing, and I brought it up to her, and she was like, let's just do a blood panel. And that's how we found out I have like ever so slightly low deficiencies. And adding in those supplements has, it seemed to have really helped. So if you're feeling the same way, a simple blood panel. Also, I did my blood sugar, is it the glucose test? And it's not my favorite. I gotta admit, every single time I don't feel like it really gets easier. I posted it on social that I was getting it done, and I was like, it's a crime that you have to fast for 12 hours before. And some moms came out of the woodwork being like, you don't have to do that. That is unnecessary. Why are you fasting? I'm like, hold up. Okay. There's different blood glucose tests. I don't know why I always get gifted the longer ones where you have to fast, but apparently, if you do the 1 hour glucose test, you don't have to fast. But I always get the two or the three. I don't really know why. I thought like two was standard. I thought you always get the 2 hour glucose test, and three is like, oh, if you think you're going to fail the second, or if you do fail the second, then you get put on the 3 hour one. Anywho, I did the 2 hour test. I booked my appointment in advance, so I had like a 7:45 slot, because your girl gets hangry and moody when I can't eat, especially when pregnant. So I stopped eating at 7:45 the night before, started at 7:45 the next morning, and around like 10:15ish I could eat. But it just makes me nauseous. I don't know that it's not like the biggest deal, but it's like, why you have to do that to us while we're pregnant? Come on. Anyways, I passed, thank God. I also did the fresh test. If anyone's not familiar with it, it's like a cleaner version of the glucose sugary drink that your doctor gives you. I've just realized that one, it tastes better. It just tastes like lemonade. And two, I don't feel as shitty with like the sugar crash come down after. Like the last two times, I did it for my first pregnancy with like the regular glucose test because I just didn't know any better back then. And I spent the entire remainder of the day in bed feeling so nauseous and sick and jittery. And then I did the fresh test this time and the one before, and I still had a little bit of that where I like laid in bed because I just like wasn't feeling great, but it wasn't nearly as bad. And just like the ingredients are cleaner. There's no, is it like the preservatives or additives in it? So I just ordered it off Amazon. I can link it in the description too. I'll do that after because I'm going to be mentioning a few things. Anyways, I think you take that between 24 and 28 weeks. I knocked that out early. So I thought it'd be fun to do a little second trimester in review, starting with my mood. So anxiety versus calm this time around. I feel like I've been relatively calm, but at the same time, in the past, I want to say like handful of weeks, I've really felt my anxiety starting to creep in again. And it's almost like my Lexapro is just not working anymore, where like the smallest inconveniences where it would just kind of take the edge off or the weight off of like my kids' TV blasting while they're playing with toys or when they're fighting, or the toddler million questions in a minute that you get if you're in a car ride, and all those little moments where usually I'm like, I can handle this. Like, it doesn't really, it like bounces off me. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm losing my mind. I'm spiraling. I'm seeing red and just not loving that. So, yeah, I'm not going to bump up my Lexapro until probably postpartum if I need it. But yeah, my anxiety's just been not not where I'd like it. Not where I'd like it. Let's say that. And then also my emotions. I swear it's having a girl inside me versus a boy. I'm so much more emotional when I'm pregnant with a girl. Like I've had some good cries recently over nothing, seemingly nothing, or something very small, where I'll just weep myself to bed at night. And Scotty will be like, you good? Or just like think of something and just want to cry. And I'm just letting those emotions flow, and I know that I'll get through them. But I never had those with Bash. Like I feel like with Bash's pregnancy, I was feeling myself. Like I was good. This time around, slightly unstable. A little, but I always pick myself back up, and yeah. Okay, two body changes that I didn't expect this time around. Obviously, third time around, I knew my body was going to change. I'm cool with that. What I wasn't cool with was the feeling that I had popped in my first trimester, where like usually it was around like 16 to 18 weeks. Like it's our bodies just know when it's done it multiple times, like, ah, yes, I've been here before. Let me just expand so quickly. And yeah, so that's been a little rough where I've just felt like heavier and bigger earlier, which is fine, but it's just like, oh, how much bigger am I gonna get? Like it's just, yeah. But I feel like that every single time, and you're like, oh, I don't feel like I can get bigger, and then you just do, and you do. And I'm now, what is that, 7 months pregnant? I'm like, how do I still have T minus 3 months left of this, where I feel pretty big this time? And something that I don't remember in my last pregnancies is the ligament pain. And it's like around like my lower right stomach to like almost towards my groin. If you're looking on video, you can see. But I will like twist in the car wrong or try to get out, and it will fully light up in pain and just stiffen out. And yeah, I just can't move. And Scotty, he was an ex professional athlete, so he's been through this long. He had me like put my hands up above me, and magically somehow it like released the pressure. I have no idea. But yeah, that's something that helped. But I've just been dealing with like really bad round ligament pain. Apparently, that's more of a thing in the second trimester than third, which is kind of interesting. You'd think the bigger you'd get, the worse it'd get, but apparently it peaks in the second trimester. So hoping that'll be over kind of soon. And my final thought on just body changes, something that I mentioned on my Instagram the other day, you might have seen, of like things I'm doing differently this pregnancy. One of them that I mentioned is just I am not weighing myself this pregnancy. And this is something I did do the last two pregnancies. Just like see where I was at, comparing the two, like not being too hard on myself, but just like to me, I was like, I just want to know and make smarter decisions around that. Like, I'm not going to stick my face in a cupcake if I'm craving that. Like, I'll get a piece of dark chocolate, or like, I don't know, maybe like half a cupcake. Who knows? I don't know why that came to mind. But this time around, I feel like I started weighing myself a few times in the first trimester, and I was pretty unwell and shocked by how quickly I was gaining weight. In the first trimester, I was eating so much more, but it was like substantial nutrient dense meals, but obviously it was making me gain weight. And I just kind of like fricked with my mental well being. And I promised myself, sorry, I've been having these like half burps that come up
where it like feels like I'm gonna burp, but it just like gets stuck in my throat. So if you hear that or you see that on camera, I'm not having a seizure or anything. It's like a burp that just won't come out. Thank you, pregnancy. Anyways, where was I? Oh, about just not weighing myself. Yeah, I just decided I'm not gonna weigh myself. I know how to eat and like feed my body and my baby. I know how to be active. My kids make sure of that. And if I feel like things are getting tight on me, I'm just gonna size up. And that does like in my past pregnancies, I've wanted to like squish into sizes or like, and I'm just done with that. I feel most confident when I size up, and I just have been taking the things that no longer fit me in this pregnancy and just taking them out of my closet so they're out of sight, out of mind. So it helps, it spares me the mental breakdown. And I've just been feeling so much better, even if I have been gaining more weight than the last pregnancies, which I would maybe assume, or maybe I'm at the same. I don't really know. I feel more confident in my body and myself by doing that and not putting the pressure on it on myself, because I know at some point it'll be a long journey, but at some point I'll feel good about myself. I'll give myself time postpartum, but why stress about it now? Because I'm only going to get bigger. So why think about it and fixate on it every single day where I should be fixating on this child that I'm growing inside of me? So that's kind of my thoughts. I'm just, yeah, body changes, not weighing myself, sizing up when I need to. Okay, the sleep reality check. Okay, honestly, I'll give myself like an A minus in the sleep category. I take a quarter unisum every single night. I make sure I have an early bedtime. I have my pregnancy pillow. Oh God, I love my pregnancy pillow. It's like, oh, just a love affair. I have is it the Yana? Yana? I don't know. I can link it as well. It it feels like a dead body. It is so heavy. It keeps my body in place. So I just don't move. The position I go to sleep in, I typically end up in the morning, and I just have a great sleep. The only thing that kind of puts a dagger in that is the nighttime peas. Those have been getting so bad the last couple weeks, and I know they're only going to get worse. I kind of forgot about it. I thought I was doing pretty good, but like my bladder, y'all, I get up and I have to pee at least once, multiple times throughout the night. And it's, I mean, I go right back to sleep, but I'm like, okay, it's just prepping me for like the newborn middle of the night wake ups. But at the same time, like I'll try not to drink water before bed, and somehow I still pee like a racehorse in the middle of the night multiple times. I'm like, where is this liquid coming from? And I also think the way my baby like maneuvers when she's in there, I like she's sitting on my bladder a lot of the time where I will have a full pee, and then 3 minutes later I'll be walking around like I have to pee so bad again. And then I go to the bathroom and it's like 3 drops. I'm like, how's that? It feels like I have a UTI, but I don't. I don't know if anyone else has experienced that. I don't recall it being like that. I recall having to pee a lot, but that's something to note where I'm like, oh, that's so annoying. Where it's like, I feel the strongest urge to pee again 3 minutes later, and it's like nothing comes out. Okay, food cravings and aversions. I've got to be honest, I haven't really had any cravings or aversions this pregnancy. Like, it's a little boring, but the only thing that's like a little odd, maybe some would say, is that I am still wanting lunch food for breakfast time. Savory over sweet. Like this morning, for instance, I woke up and I was feeling nauseous, but I was like, I need something protein and savory. And I opened my fridge and I had chicken salad. I'm like, you, I'm looking at you. And I grabbed some pretzel crackers and I just ate the rest of the jar of my chicken salad for breakfast. And it hit the spot, and it was like exactly what my body needed. I haven't really been like a yogurt bowl or smoothie in the morning. I'll have that later on in like the afternoon when I need like a sweet treat. But I've really been trying to focus on my protein. So that's the only weird thing. I will say, food ick. I haven't really been icked around food, but a couple nights ago, Scotty and I were watching TV, and he had like a late lunch, so he didn't eat dinner. So he's like, I'm just gonna go fancy myself a snack. He comes back and I'm just like, what did you eat? He ate leftover seafood paella, a crime around a pregnant woman. Granted, he ate it in the kitchen, but I swear that man stepped foot into our bedroom, and it wafted in my nose, and I was internally dry heaving. I was trying not to be disrespectful, hurt anyone's feelings. Um, but it was the most revolting smell. I had to move to the farthest part sliver of the bed, put the covers up my nose so I would not vomit, and to help with the nausea. I was like, it was just the pregnant, like your pregnancy sense of smell. In those moments, you're like, I wish I didn't have you. But yeah, that was like the only recent ick I had where it felt like first trimester again. I'm like, seafood paella, no, on the naughty list. Okay, skin, hair, and hormones. I will say I haven't been breaking out since the first trimester, which has been really nice, but I won't say I feel like I've had a glow either. I will double down on I think that girls suck the life and beauty out of you and boys add to it. Last pregnancy, like I said, with Bash, I was feeling myself. I felt good. I feel like I looked better. And then this pregnancy, I feel like I look like kind of dull and just like blah, but fine. Minor insecurities, nothing major. I don't lose sleep over it. I sleep well at night. So not worried about that. But my hair. Okay, I was thinking that people were just being really nice to me because I was pregnant, so they like wanted to compliment me. And what's the easiest thing? You can't compliment the body. You can't compliment, I don't know, got melasma on my face. Maybe say I have nice shiny hair. So I was getting compliments like, "What'd you do to your hair? Your hair looks so nice. It looks so shiny." And I was like, "Hey, you're just trying to flatter me because I'm getting huge." And then I was on a flight the other week, and the air, I call it an air hostess. I don't know if that's because Scotty makes fun of me. I just the flight attendant. Um, she cornered me when I was going to the bathroom. She's like, "Girl, like, what do you do to your hair? How is it so shiny? Like, give me the deets." And I don't think she noticed I was pregnant because I was in a sweatshirt. And I was like, to be honest, I don't use anything in my hair. I was like, I'm on prenatals and I'm pregnant. And she was like, okay, noted. So either take prenatals or get pregnant or both. I was like, yep, secret to shiny hair, apparently. So maybe my hair is looking shiny without me doing anything, which has been nice. It'll be so great up until it all falls out in the postpartum phase. So excited for that. But yeah, no, I guess my hair has been popping off. Who knows? Okay, let's talk my movement and workouts. So I have really been trying to keep up with 2 days a week of Pilates. It used to be three. Now I'm toning it back to two. If you guys know what BFit is, it's like a boot camp Pilates reformer. So it's more intense than just traditional Pilates. Wait, here I go again. That could be a hiccup. Sorry, I don't know. But I've been doing that. I've definitely been modifying and taking breaks. Otherwise, I would legit pass away because it is so tough. And then obviously, when it comes to like the twisty things, I've just been doing them straightforward or like making up my own little variations of the move. And then the days that I am not doing Pilates, I try to do 75 to 10K steps a day just to get some movement and extra exercise and for, the brain, the mental. And something that has been a little odd recently, I've been craving to do weight training or just like weight resistance. I never knew that was a pregnancy craving, but apparently it is. We'll see how that goes. I've just been feeling the need to lift and tighten and tone while in pregnancy. So I don't know. I'll keep you updated on that. It could be really short lived, but I've really been wanting to get back into like F45, the resistance days, not the cardio days, because no, just wouldn't happen right now. Um, but yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with my movement and working out. I feel like I will probably nix the Pilates around 8 months. There's just something about those squats and those movements when I'm like squatting down with that stomach weighing me down and my legs shaking. I'm like, this ain't it. Or like doing crunches with my stomach. I went to Pilates with my girlfriend Joe the other day and we had to do these crunches like on the back against weights. And she like looks over me mid pose. She's like, is this comfortable for you? I'm like, not really. It feels like I have a ball that I'm crunching onto. So I don't foresee myself doing it that much, but I do foresee myself keeping my movement up for sure. And then sex and intimacy. I feel like I've touched on this in the last few episodes, so I'm not going to like go into it again and beat a dead horse. But happy to report, desire, sex drive has been up this pregnancy, which I don't understand why. I'm not going to argue it. I think I'll just ride that train until the very end. No pun intended. um, but yeah, I don't recall that in my last pregnancies at all. But I've just been like, mm, so we shall see. And then some random topics that I put together based off of, I did like a Q&A on my personal stories on just like second trimester questions. And I did a post on controversial things that I'm doing this pregnancy that I may have not done in the last few pregnancies, or maybe I have, or some people throw shade at. But one is that I have been eating high quality sushi, raw sushi, not that often. I will say maybe like once a month or so, but from really good sources. And I feel good about it. My first pregnancy, I would not dare touch any form of raw seafood, but this time I've been doing a little bit, obviously like the low mercury fish, pretty much just like salmon. Definitely like there's no tuna. I think it's like yellowtail. Any of the bottom feeders. There's like a chart if you Google it of like the lowest mercury fish. So I've been sticking to that, and just in moderation, and I feel fine with that. Also, taking weekly bubble baths. They always say like don't take baths when you're pregnant. I think it's if you overheat, or like if your skin turns like bright pink. I don't keep it. I mean, I like it hot, but not that hot. It's just a way for me to decompress, and like I need that time, and I feel fine. The baby kicks in the bath, kicks when it gets out. Like I feel good doing it. Also, still taking my Lexapro, as I mentioned. I'm on 5 milligrams. I obviously discussed this with my doctor, which I would advise anyone listening who might be interested to do the same. I'm on the lowest dose, and we've definitely agreed that the pros outweigh the cons in doing this. Also, drinking coffee every day. I feel like when I'm pregnant, I naturally and intuitively just don't drink as much. I'll drink like half a cup, or if I get an iced latte, I'll just naturally drink half of it, and I feel good. And then lastly, I'm not like nitpicking every single product or food that I'm putting in my body. I used to be so scared and overwhelmed, being like, there's such a big no list. Like I felt like jailed. Like I couldn't do anything. And this time around, I feel so much more just confident in my ability to make decisions while also listening to what my doctor says, and not like fear mongering. I feel like so when you get pregnant, a lot of the time it's like you make every decision out of fear, and just being a little more like knowledgeable on like what's realistic, why are these rules set, where are they set. Like I'm not going to go eat deli meat from 7-Eleven sandwiches, but I will go find some like high quality organic nitrate free deli meat, and I will eat that. So that's kind of where I'm at with like the controversial things that some people might not agree with, but I feel good doing. And then maternity clothes. So I actually have not bought any maternity clothes this time around. I feel like I did the first time around with some with Aspen from Hatch. And nothing against that at all. I found my way around maternity clothes and what works for my body, and with me growing, and like I don't know, who knows, maybe in the last month or two of pregnancy I might, but as of now I haven't. And as I said, I just been like sizing up. And one thing that I've been loving are these Levi's low rise jeans. I'm literally wearing them right now. They're unbuttoned because when I sit, it just my stomach protrudes. Um, but I've been loving them. I think I bought 5 pairs and I've just been sizing up. I'm now 3 sizes from what I was pre pregnancy, but I also don't mind because they've just been on sale. They're like 75 or $80, and I know that I'll also be wearing them in my postpartum phase of however many months that is. So they're going to last me a long time, and then I'll probably just sell them on Poshmark. But I've gotten them in different denim, like blue jean denim washes. I have brown, I have black, and they're low rise, so they don't like hit you weird on your stomach, and they just sit perfectly on my waist, and I'm just always living in them, where I can still feel like a human. Like I don't have to wear leggings or anything. I can actually still look dressed. And they've just been the best. So I can link those too, or just message me for the link. There should be in my highlights on my Instagram as well. And then Amazon, I did post these on my Instagram too. They have these like bodysuits, like short sleeve or short, like short ones, and then long leg ones, and they're like $40, and they're the best bump suit dupe. And I've been wearing them every single workout. If I'm going on long walks, they're just so flattering. And I'm not in a workout class wearing shorts and like a bra top and like leaning over and I feel like I'm just like pouring out. And yeah, so I've been wearing those a lot. I'm trying to think of anything else. Maybe I'll make like a pregnancy essentials link or roundup where after this of just everything I've been loving this pregnancy so far, and I'll put it in the show notes so you can check after that. But I will say that I'm proud of myself for putting in more energy and effort this time around with getting dressed every day. And it's really helped with just like feeling good about myself every day and being more productive and feeling more positive in my pregnancy. And I don't know. It's just like I feel like I'm in a good mental state most of the time when I'm feeling more put together and dressed. Like when I like my outfit, you're just in a better mood, you know? And so I just say like comfort first, obviously, but then like your outfit, like feel good about yourself in your pregnancy. Don't be afraid to show off that bump. And if there are any grandmas give you bad looks, show it off more. I don't know. Okay, let's talk baby movement. So, this girl has been so active. I swear, I think I've talked about this before, but like I felt her at 13 weeks. And yes, that's because it's my third pregnancy too. But she has been so active where now she is just, she's on like a schedule. She knows when she's kicking, where she's kicking. And I literally see her foot press against my stomach and like windshield wiper and like try to like grab it. I'm like, I didn't do that till like 8 or 9 months with my other kids. And she's just so active, moving around. And it's great because I always like know she's okay. Which is awesome. But not when she is pressing her little foot on the inside of my rib and like feeling like it's gonna snap off. That's not so awesome. But I will say, like, the pros outweigh the cons, and I just love feeling the movement and just it's like my little bonding time, especially in bed at night. I love it. And like those are the parts of pregnancy like you miss the most, like the feeling of them inside of you and just wondering who they are. And I don't know, I love the baby movements. And it's something that I've been cherishing this pregnancy and then also just like keeping track of. I think third trimester is when you start doing kick counts. So I think I honestly don't think she'll ever not be kicking where I'll have to worry or like or whatnot. So that's been good. Okay, appointments and tests. I've got to say I've been pretty lucky in this category just because all my pregnancies have been high risk, where I am getting scans every 2 weeks. Where I don't know what a so-called like normal pregnancy is. Like, what do you guys get scanned every 4 weeks or so? And sometimes those aren't even full ultrasounds, right? Like you have just a Doppler where I pretty much have an ultrasound every 2 weeks. So I get to see her more. Not that she's been showing her face. She's a little stubborn gal, stubborn Aries. But that's been fun. And they've been just checking my cervix. So everything was good until the last appointment. They said that it was dropping a little low. So I actually have a scan today, this afternoon. So by the time this episode comes out, I'll find out. But hopefully it hasn't um, my cervix hasn't shortened more. They did put me back on progesterone suppositories, which I don't love, I gotta say. Progesterone, it just makes me sad and hormonal, and it's what rises right before your period. So it's just like makes my boobs hurt, it makes me tired. It just I don't love it, but I'll do it for her. Any day of the week, I will do it for her. But praying that my cervix stays happy and that it helps me last till 38 plus weeks pregnant. And then baby moon. We've never really done a traditional baby moon before. My first pregnancy, because of my cervix, I couldn't travel, I couldn't move. My second pregnancy, we ended up just going to Mexico with a couple of our friends and had like a friend's moon. And then this pregnancy, I swear we like don't have any free weekends until the baby comes, which is terrifying. Or at least like until before like the travel ban of like you can't travel, what is it, after 34 weeks. So we're pretty busy until then, but we have one weekend where I'm like, why don't we just go to Palm Springs for a night or two and just relax and have a little bit of sun. So I think that's what we'll do. But for anyone who's considering a baby moon, I feel like the sweet spot is 24 to 28 weeks, maybe 30 max if it's maybe your first pregnancy. I don't think I could I would want to travel my third pregnancy at 30 weeks. Like I'm thinking of that in 2 weeks. I mean, I would, but it's just like a little harder, especially if you're on a plane and like it's uncomfortable with your stomach. um, but like your bump, like it's not too big, but it's not too small. Like you're bumping by then, so it's cute to travel with and go on a little vacay with. I would say baby moon essentials when thinking of somewhere to go, somewhere that's like relatively easy to get to, not too far, doesn't take too long. You don't have to walk a ton, and it's great for relaxing and has great food because you're not drinking, so you might as well just inhale the most amazing food, and that's how you'll celebrate. I always go for warmer weather places, but there are people that go like, it, I don't know, on adventures where I just would love to be horizontal, laying in the sun and I don't know, dare I get a massage maybe? Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up with just a little listener Q&A. These are questions that you guys submitted in the question box, and I'll just go through them quickly. If I left any out or if you had any others, feel free to just message me or just comment on YouTube or Spotify, and I'll answer them for you. So the first one is, what are you craving this pregnancy? What am I craving? Um, I don't know, some Botox, a couple drops of filler, a nice ice cold dirty martini, maybe, a dozen oysters, laying on my stomach whenever I want. Did I miss anything? I don't know. I think that might be it. As I mentioned, I don't really have that many cravings, but I'm like, I can't wait to pop this baby out of me, get a little Botox in the forehead, go out. Last time when we gave birth to Bash, a week later, we went on our first date and we brought him with and he slept the whole time. We got a nice martini and some oysters and some sushi, and it was just like flow state glorious, like euphoric. It was the best way to celebrate not being pregnant anymore and just treat ourselves after the first week of getting through newborn days. Are you doing a baby shower or sprinkle? So I wasn't going to. And then I decided that I was going to have my mom's hosting it. Like the most casual, smallest baby sprinkle. Um, non-traditional. I just want to have like 10 friends over. We're gonna do PJs and brunch and just hang, and not for me to be showered because I feel like I have most of everything I want, and God forbid I make my friends come to a third event for my children. They're probably so over it by now, but it's just one last hurrah. I like to hang with my girls before, strapped on with a newborn. And two, the main reason is because I want this baby to also like look back at memories and pictures and stuff and see that she was celebrated too, just like her siblings. Because I was like, that would be so sad. Like Aspen and Bash had big baby showers, and then for her to have nothing, I would just feel so bad. So we're gonna just do a little something something. It's gonna be very casual. And the reason is just for her. Any tips when you feel huge already, girlfriend? My only humbling tip is that you're only gonna get bigger. That's not really a tip, but that's what I keep telling myself when I wake up. I'm like, oh, I feel huge. I'm like, all right, well, today's the smallest I'll be for the next 3 months, so figure it out. But no, I mean, when you're feeling huge, put on something that's just comfy, go do something that makes you feel good, go on a walk, go whatever it is. We're gonna feel huge. That's just the name of the game. And yeah, I just keep telling myself that I'm only gonna get bigger. So it's probably not good advice, but it is the hard truth. When did you start buying it baby stuff? So first pregnancy, I probably started right away. Like I and second trimester was probably all set, besides the baby shower goodies. But this time I'm 28 weeks and I'm actually sitting in my empty room of what will be a nursery. So right now it's just like a temporary studio space. I'm looking, there's just junk everywhere. So I'll give myself like a couple more weeks before I probably start working on this, probably around like 30 weeks. I will say I'm not stressed about it this time around. Like I know I still have to buy everything for her room, but babies can't see when they're born. I say that all the time. And they spend a lot of time in your room. And if you're going to come change them in here, like they're not going to judge you. So if it takes a little longer than you anticipate, or if you're, I don't know, if you're in the middle, like you don't have a nursery or you're under renovations, which I know some friends are like, we're not going to have our nursery until we're done with this and the baby's going to be here before. Like it really doesn't matter. I know you always want it so perfect, especially with your first child. I had that where it was perfect and I had it done ahead of time. And then I was like, wait a minute, we barely use this room. Why was I stressing over that? So this time around, I'll probably start like 30 weeks. That feels right, I guess. And just like buy as I go. I've really realized like you buy everything you think you need and you use half of it. Where Amazon, you can overnight things. Like if you need an extra swaddle, if you need whatever it is, you can always get it or Instacart like the next day. Okay, hospital bag and registry recommendations. I'm actually going to do an episode on this. I have it scheduled for my third trimester. I will go through everything in my hospital bag. I will talk about my registry, like must haves, maybes, and like don't need, in my opinion. So that will be coming. If you have any like products you want me to rate or like talk about, just message me them and I'll include them in that. Kind of like a worth the hype or not worth the hype. And then lastly, someone asked any mindset shifts that have helped the most. Um, Honestly, I just keep telling myself like I know that I'm going to miss being pregnant because I've done that before. There's been so many times when I thought I was done having kids after Bash. I'm like, oh, I'm never going to be pregnant again. Oh, if I could just be pregnant one more time. Oh, I'll never feel a baby kick inside of me again. It will be missed. You might be getting sick of it in the moment, but just cherish, find the good in every day of being pregnant because I guarantee you, and write it down because you will be so shocked by how quickly you forget the special moments of being pregnant or anything in life. Like I will look back at my journal with Aspen and Bash, like I completely forgot about that. So write every single thing down of what you experienced, the good and the bad, and just look back on it and celebrate that time of your life, no matter how you're currently feeling. And just remember, like we are freaking made for this. God built our bodies to withstand pregnancy, to push these babies out of our vaginas or chinas, as I would tell Aspen. Also, to be cut out of our stomachs, apparently. Warriors for that. And lastly, a man could never. Honestly, mic drop after that. A man could just never. They could never get through pregnancy. They could never get through childbirth. We are the warriors, not putting them down because they do things that we probably can't too, but you just feel like a superwoman when you're like, I can do this, and you would complain every single day of your life. Anyways, that's my 2 cents. And I think that's it for today. Thank you guys so much. I'm so grateful for everyone here who's listening weekly, who messages me and even comments after the episodes. Like, I love the feedback. I love hearing if you liked the episode, and if you resonated with it, or when moms message me and be like, I recently got pregnant too. Like, we're pregnant together. I love listening to your pregnancy episodes, or following along in your journey, or letting me know their experiences. Like, I think that's so cool that we can kind of support each other from afar. So I've been putting in work, you guys. I'm so proud of myself. I feel like I'm already like going into the panic mode before having a baby where I'm like, I need to book guests for this podcast. So I have like 2 months of incredible guest speakers that are coming on the podcast that you guys are going to be obsessed with. They will not disappoint. So make sure that you're subscribed. You can, I think it's like the subscribe button, or you might have like a plus sign button, and it just notifies you every time there's an episode available. So you never miss one. And also, I will randomly put out 2 episodes a week on either like a Thursday or a Friday as like a little surprise, or if I've like thrown in an extra one if I've had time. So make sure that you're subscribed. Thank you guys so much. As always, my DMs are always open. If you have any requests for the podcast, as much as this is mine, it is equally as yours as well. And I want you to feel that way, where you can be like, I found this person or this topic, and I would love for you to integrate into the podcast. I'm like, heck yes, let's do it. I'll reach out to this person, whatever it is. Like, I want us all to get the most out of this podcast. And I just want to be the vessel, you know? So thank you guys. And if you have any questions or like want to vent or just chit chat with me, my DMs are always open. I love talking to you guys. Talk to you next week.